Hey, hey, hey! As per usual, I am slightly early because I like to be slightly early. Give everyone time to join the live stream. It is Friday. Happy Friday. How's everyone's Friday going so far? For me, I would say pretty good so far. Definitely this week was another week of like, woo! Things are moving quickly, but all really good stuff. So I'm excited about that. What else? If you want friends to join, this would be the perfect time to share this so that everyone tunes in as we approach. We have 1 minute to, and then we'll get started. And just as a reminder, what are we talking about? Undressing your mind with a fear. So that's the topic for today. It's a new series I'm starting, and I'm really excited because I think it's definitely something that I've encountered with many of my clients, as well as just personally, right? This is something that is a human experience that we all go through. So let's cut the nonsense and let's talk about it, right? So there's that. What other fun shares to talk about before we get serious? Fun weekend plans for anyone? There's a lot of things going on in the plus fashion world, so I think that's really exciting. For me, I think this weekend I'm just gonna double down on work and some pet stuff, right? Grooming for the dog. And I will be traveling soon, so stay tuned for my updates on that. You'll see where me and the hubby of Woke and Free are going, so stay tuned. Let's see, are we ready to go? Also, what I do love, everyone else here in New York is probably going to agree, the hot weather, so nice, right? It's nice and sunny, and with that, it is 12 o'clock, so welcome to the Undress Your Mind series. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the owner and co-founder of Dressing Room, a innovative business coaching and business consultation company that essentially I wanted to start to help people break through personal and career blocks that are standing in their way of their own success, because it doesn't have to be that way. And with innovation, with activation, with education, you can totally transform your lives. You can totally transform your business. So essentially that's like a snippet of me. And for everyone who's joining in, please feel free to like shout your name out, shout where you're coming, what town, city, state, whatever you're coming from. Love to know, kind of where everyone's at in their life right now in this moment, and undress your mind. So I wanted to start this series for a couple of things. First and foremost, right? At the end of the day, we spend a lot of time in our lives doing what? Focusing on this, the outside, right? But we also can't forget about what? Inside here, we have to undress our minds of certain blocks and fears and challenges that we are holding on to, because it's only what? It's only affecting the type of success and prosperity that we have in our life, and it's not necessary. So the first part of this series, I scheduled for, so if you go to facebook.com/dr8fashion, you will see that I've set up 4 different events for the Undress Your Mind series. And the first one out of the gate we're talking about today is going to be fear. So I would love a like, I would love a heart for anyone who, at any moment in their life has dealt with fear, right? I have to raise my hand. I think we all naturally have to deal with fear. Why? Because it's a natural animal instinct. Fear biologically keeps animals alive, right? If animals didn't fear things, right, then they would run into flames, they would run into cars and never learn and never have a safeguard in measure. So fear is a natural existing emotion, but it is not a reason for you to use as an excuse to not succeed in your life. And that's essentially what the Undress Your Mind series is about. It's about saying, okay, I get it. Like we feel this, cool, but how can we reverse engineer it so it doesn't stand in our way? So there's a lot of different fears. And again, I want this to be conversational. Please feel free to write in comments for certain fears that you've had in your life. And today, I'm going to talk about a couple of specific fears. First and foremost, out of the gate, can anyone guess what I'm going to talk about? Let's see. Well, if you go to workitdaily.com, there's a really great article about, and I think the title is 12 Common Fears Holding You Back from Success. So if you go to workitdaily.com, you'll see this list. There's like 12 different ones. I'm going to pull from a couple of them to talk about for our series today, because it's a real, I love my lunchtime chats because it's 30 minutes in and out, right? We talk about something. If you want to deeper, dive deeper into this, you got to let me know so that we can schedule that and put that in play for everyone. But just to like put the seed in the head, right? And just to start to think about something. So the first fear is fear of failure. So hearts, likes, comments. Who has ever dealt with this fear? The fear of failure, right? What if you won't get the job that you want? What if your business fails? What if you don't get that dream house that you really want? What if this deal doesn't go through? What if fill in the blank, right? You know, that's like one of my favorite phrases if you followed along on my content. So, okay, so we're dealing with this one fear of failure. So I think the biggest thing with that is, how do I reverse engineer this fear of failure? It's the failure. What if I told you there was no such thing as failure? What if we lived in a world and we said there are experiences and there are things that I enjoy, right? Certain experiences lead to outcomes that I enjoy. And then there's certain experiences that lead into outcomes that I don't enjoy. Okay. What is the takeaway from that? Both of those experiences are teachable moments in your life. So again, I'm going to break that. We're going to reverse and go talk about that again. Fear of failure. What if I said there's no such thing as failure and there was only teachable moments? Wouldn't that fear of failure then dissipate because you don't have this existing anymore? This concept doesn't exist in your mind. It doesn't exist in your world anymore. Yes, that's the whole point. There is no such thing as failure. I'm one of many people who believe this, and I really hope that after you watch this either live or later on, you really start to think and agree. Because the minute you stop seeing failure as an actual existing concept, you are freed. You freed. And as someone, I tell you, I'm a Virgo. I grew up my entire life at a kind of a stage where you could never do enough. You could never succeed enough. You could never accomplish enough. That's like my narrative. That's how I grew up in my Jamaican household in Manhattan. But the minute I stopped saying to myself that I that I can't fail, that I could only learn and that I could enjoy something or maybe not enjoy it, but there's no such thing as failure, then what does that mean? It means that there's no bottom under you. It means that ultimately you may go up, you may go down, but ultimately you're learning and there's no expectation that you can do X or that you can, not avoid this, because there's nothing that concept doesn't exist, right? And it's the same way if you understand the concept of what? Perfection is a fiction, right? If you take something and if you fear it and then you totally take it out and say it doesn't exist, then you don't fear it anymore. Thanks, Camille. I'm so glad that you joined. Awesome. So that's my first tip for that failure, right? And that fear of failure, right? That if that's something that's been really bothering you, I really hope that you take today and start to think about that and said, well, what if it didn't exist? What if it's a teachable moment? Your whole mind shift totally shifts from every experience you have. So that's one type of fear to listen to and to think about, right? Another fear that I think is really, 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 really common, right? We also have what? The fear of the other side, success. What if I do get this job? What if I do have a business that is thriving and it's my time now to take it to the next level? What if I do get that dream home? Do I actually move and make that leap? What if I do meet the love of my life? What if I? Fill in the blank, right? So, what if I told you that success is going to happen, right? No matter what you think about it, what you do about it, right? Like this is a concept that you ultimately that you don't control. So think about what you're saying then. If I have a fear of success, then you have a fear of something that you don't control. How can that ever make sense for you? How can you ever reconcile that? You can never reconcile that, because you can't, if you can't control it, then what? Then you can't dictate it. Then you can't strap something onto it, right? It just exists. And that's just where it's at in life, right? And that's how I need you to think about that concept of fear of success. What if I said, instead of thinking about the outcome, right? If success is an outcome for a lot of people, how they think about success, what if I said, let's focus on the journey, right? Instead, now you don't have time to be thinking about this potential outcome that can exist because you're too busy sending that email. For those of you who tuned in, you know what I'm talking about. If you are focusing on your marketing, on your branding, on networking, on sales, on business development, on personal relationship development, on spiritual growth, on your fitness journey, on your health journey. What if you focused on the journey of your life as opposed to the destination for where it's going? Wouldn't that totally shift your mindset? And there would be nothing to fear because you're too busy being present. You're too busy living life so that you can have the outcome of success that you want, right? And so that's what this is all about, that for us to undress our mind of fear, we have to shift our mindset. That's how you reverse engineer it. And so for everyone tuning in late, we started with the fear of failure. And I said, what? Failure doesn't exist. It's the same thing. Think of it as perfection is a fiction. Failure is a fiction. The F's, right? Woohoo! Love an F-bomb. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It's a teachable moment. Totally shifts your whole mindset on how you approach your life. Now here we go on number 2. Fear of success. What if you took a step back and said, you know what? That's an outcome. That's a moment in time. There are several moments in time. What do I need to do? I control what I think. I control what I say. I control what I feel. So if I focus on the emails that I need to send, focus on the relationship building I need to do, focus on my branding, focus on sales, focus on marketing, focus on the journey for which you are living, then wouldn't you naturally receive the success? And then there would be nothing to fear because it would be coming into your life naturally as it's supposed to be. Gotcha, right? I'm dropping gems, guys. I'm dropping gems. You got to be here. So again, share. If you're tuning in, share this with a friend. Share this with someone who you feel like needs to hear this, and join the conversation. What are additional failures as I go through this that you want to talk about? That's why we're doing the live. All right. So that we talked about 2 fears. Whew, right? Heavy stuff. Heavy. This is a goodie one. Now, this is fear of judgment. Who's ever cared what people have thought about them, right? Oh my God, what if she doesn't like me? Oh my God, what if he doesn't want to be with me? Oh my God, what if I can't get the job because ... What if we came to the realization that we do not control how other people think about us? We do not control what people say to us. We do not control how people interpret us and misinterpret us, right? The only thing you can control, and I said it just a couple of minutes ago, you control what you say, you control how you look, you control what you do, you control how you feel. That is your lane, right? If you're living in your lane, that's your lane. What I say, what I do, how I look, what I say, right? And your purpose, essentially why you do what you do. You control your 5 W's, essentially the who, what, when, where, why. That's all you. That's all you. So if you are struggling with the fear of judgment by others, then how do you reverse engineer that so that that is not a fear that you have to deal with anymore? Stop caring. I know, truly prophetic, right? I'm like Yoda right now. It's real simple. Because I cannot control how you are interpreting me or how this person is thinking about me or what this person is saying about me, then I can do what I'm doing. I can be in my lane and I could not care. And then what? Then that person has no power over me anymore. Their ideas have no power over me anymore. And then what? I'm free. And that's what we want in life. We want the freedom to live and be who we are. And whether you get judged, as so much is going on, right, with the whole Kanye West situation in life, it's a lot. People will come for you and say a lot about you. And whether you're saying something that's correct or incorrect, right, that's under your control. How you sound and how you present yourself, all on you. Can't blame that on anyone else. But if you don't give a damn, people will respect that. And sometimes they won't, and they'll let you know, right? And the judgment will continue. You can never stop the judgment. So the fear of this concept of judgment of others is what? Illogical, does not compute. Because you can't control it. You can't control it. It's going to happen. You could be the nicest person. You could be the meanest person. You could be the sexiest person. You could be someone who doesn't even, go outside and still gets judged. Like, you can be judged in your home and outside of your home. You can be judged alive or when you're no longer alive. It doesn't stop. So stop caring. That's how you reverse engineer it. The minute that I stopped caring about what people thought about me, what people said about me, I was a free bird. There's a poem by Maya Angelou called Cage Bird. If you haven't read it, you should totally read it. Really interesting poem. She goes through the distinction of what a free bird thinks and what a free bird does versus what a cage bird does and what a cage bird thinks. Fascinating poem. I go over that poem when I do talks on kind of celebrating the works of Maya Angelou. Truly riveting. You guys should definitely, and we can definitely do like a poetry live stream if anyone's ever into that. Holler at your girl, Natasha at dressingroommate.com. I love poetry. I am a poet as well. So, think about that, right? That's how you reverse engineer it. So for anyone tuning in and just joining in, we now just hit 3 fears. We talked about the fear of failure, right? How to reverse engineer it. You can chant with me, guys. You can comment and tell me as I speak about it. We reverse engineer the fear of failure by saying failure is a fiction. It doesn't exist. We live a life of teachable moments. Every moment. I'm learning something as I do this. You're learning something as you watch this. You're learning something as you wake up in the day. You're learning something as you go to bed. Teachable moments. You enjoy something, you don't enjoy something, you learn from it, but there is no such thing as failure. There is no bottoming out of your life. You just live it, and certain things are more enjoyable than others. And you pivot and you learn and you adjust, right? When things go in a way where you're like, ooh, kind of like if you got burned at the stove, you're like, not doing that again, right? Or I'm going to change how I do something. But it's a teachable moment. There is no such thing as failure. So, woo! Got that done. It's 2018, right? You can take this and you can live this and execute this in your life and see the difference or not, and then feel the difference of not living by this principle. Because I'm telling you, it's like a principle of life that can really switch how things are going in your personal life or your professional careers and your businesses. Second fear, we talked about the fear of success. Okay, well, again, how do we reverse engineer this? What if we stopped focusing on a destination, which is success? It's a destination, right? It's an end point or an arrival moment in time. And we said, oh, there's a whole journey that leads up to that destination. How about I focus on that? That's how you reverse engineer this. And then the third fear that we were at is the fear of judgment by others. That's a goodie. Because what I find funny is that most people I hear and talk to and coach and work with, they're, oh my God, well, oh my God, how do they think about me? Oh. And if you look at the most successful people in this world, and again, I say that only from a perspective of the fact that, success not imitate success, but you recognize, like game, recognize game, right? Like that you recognize the value of how someone got successful, and you try to understand how that's maybe a part of your narrative. And if it's not, why it could be or shouldn't be. And then you make the decision, right? You can't live someone else's life. You can't repeat someone else's life, but you can learn from how someone else is living. And if people are, achieving a certain level of success in their life, and again, it's many different ways that we define success, whether it's monetary, whether it's family, whether it's spiritual, whether it's nutritional, whether it's fitness, whatever, you fill in the blank. Most people in several industries and several categories that I've listened to and that I regularly absorb their content, they commonly have a similar thread of saying they don't give a damn. That the moment that they stopped caring what other people think, caring what other people said about them. Ding, ding, ding. It was just like you just kind of, if we were caged, you are now free. And it's as simple as that. Stop caring. All right. So if you have questions, again, questions, I welcome questions, hearts, likes, all of that good stuff. Give it to me, guys. So we talked about those 3. Now, this is a good one too. And again, for anyone who is joining and didn't hear the list that I wanted to work off today, and every session of the Undress Your Mind, I will have different resources that I use. But for today, I like this list of from workitdaily.com, the 12 common fears holding you back from success. That's a really good list. Go to workitdaily.com and search that up. The next fear that I think is really interesting is fear of rejection. And I would love to hear anyone listening who has this fear, because I think this is a very common fear. And I think it's a really upsetting fear because, again, it's similar to the judgment. It's also similar to how people are dealing with failure, dealing with the, kind of fear of failure. So the fear of rejection is interesting, right? Because it it has a different face for different parts of our lives. There's definitely the romantic side of life where it's like, oh my God, I like him or I like her. What are they going to say? Right. And then they totally are like, go away. And you're like, oh my God. You're like, but why? Why no love? Oh my gosh, that was my narrative. I talk about it on my blog on dressingroommate.com. There was a child, he knows his name, and I literally was obsessed with him for 10 years of my life. Anyone who was a friend of mine knows who this person's name is. He himself, I believe, knows, I don't know if he would ever publicly say it, but he knows, never gave me the time of day. I actually proposed to him when I was 6 years old. I was obsessed. You couldn't tell me nothing, right? Definitely was not the shy child. When someone wants your attention, they make it very clear to you that they want your attention. When someone does not want your attention, they also make it very clear that they don't want your attention. So what do you have to do? You have to look at that as a teachable moment, right? It's not a moment of failure. It is a moment in time. You put yourself out there. You weren't received. The earth is still rotating. We're still on our axle. It's good. We're good, guys. It's okay. So that's that one part of rejection, which I know. I've been there. I know it hurts. Ugh. But when you go and you find that person who does want you, happily married, 5+ years, gonna be 14 years together with my boo and co-host of Woke and Free, our podcast, it's an amazing feeling when you are with someone who all they do is want you. So the feeling of rejection never supersedes the feeling of love and attraction and desire. So yeah, it sucks, but it's not something that lasts forever, nor is it something that will be more meaningful to you. Because at the end of the day, will you remember it more? Or will it stick with you for a long time? Yeah, because our brains are hardwired for negativity, but it doesn't mean that it's a more important moment. By you choosing to focus on the rejection over acceptance and love and adoration, that's on you, right? That's your choice. That's your narrative. You have to decide what type of life you want to live for yourself. But that's one type of rejection we face in life. What's another type of rejection? So there is our careers. When we put in that messy job application, right? And we don't hear back. One level of rejection. Then we what? We put in that job application and we do hear back, and then we get that phone interview, and then it stops right there. Or we put that job application in and then we get past the phone interview. We're at an in-person interview, and then the second rounds and we don't hear back. Right? The rejection is real. The struggle is real. I love that phrase. I probably will get that tattooed on me somewhere. The struggle is real. What else? There is the rejection of, okay, so now you put in the job application. Now you got the multiple rounds of interviews and you still didn't get chosen. All of that rigmarole. That blows. I'm not going to lie. It blows. It's not fun, but wait for how we deal with it. So we have the romance, we have the career, right? We're rejected either in a job application sense, or maybe it's shift it. Now you go business, and maybe you wanted a business partner. Didn't get it. Oh, maybe you wanted that funding. You applied to a bank to get $25,000, $50,000 for your bank. Thought you were getting it. Didn't get it. Right? So The whole no, N-O, right? I wrote about that whole word and how, yeah, it sucks, but we can't fear it. So there's that. Then there's another rejection, right? There's other forms of rejection we deal with in friendship. We deal with it in types of professional networking, right? The scenarios of rejection are too negative to list. We'll leave it at that, right? We're just like, oh my God, it's too much. Okay, how do we reverse engineer the fear of rejection? We recognize a couple of points. First, it's a good thing. You're like, okay, this chick is crazy. No, listen, guys, just wait for it. It's a good thing because it's the universe's way of telling us that this is not for us, or we don't forget the or it's not for us right now. What does that really mean? It's a teachable lesson. It's a teachable moment in our life, guys. It's not a bad thing. Does it emotionally hurt? Does it emotionally make, feel like you're getting hit in the gut? Abso-freaking-lutely. Everyone wants to hear a yes, right? Who's walking around saying, oh guys, please say no to me. I don't want to be happy. Like, it's too much. Obviously you want to hear yes. Obviously you want your dreams to come true the minute you start working on them. That's not the cookie. That's not how the cookie crumbles. It's just not, is it? I can't, listen, it is what it is. But it's a teachable lesson and it's a teachable moment. And if you hold on to that and you remember that, then the minute you get it, before we jump down this emotional, oh my God, and I want ice cream and I'm so upset, I need to go running, and wait a minute, wait 1 minute. It's a teachable lesson. Okay. All right. So let's think about, okay, well, maybe this is something leading to something else. Maybe this is me needing to go a different direction. It's okay. It's how the journey, you're like, kind of like if we're on a path, like say we're on a road, right? Maybe this is a road and this is how we're drawing the line. When we hear a no, we dodge to the right. When we hear a absolutely no, go to the left, but you keep moving and you look past it. You don't stay in the emotion. You think logically about what this really means and move the hell on. So that's one way to reverse engineer the fear of rejection, right? The other is what? It puts a fire under us to do more. I will tell you, in my life, I have been told I couldn't get into, not college. I was a, 4.0 high school grad. I had 4.0 for 4 years. Like, it was awesome. I was ranked third in my high school. So you couldn't have told me nothing once I got to Penn State, but once I was in my major, it was like, oh gosh, that's where challenges I had faced there. It puts a fire under your butt. You will work harder sometimes just to prove to other people that you can do it. Not that I think that that's right, because you only should be proving stuff to you. Doesn't matter what other people are saying. Who cares? But some people like to have that kind of artificial, like that motivator, like, oh, she said I can't, so I'm about to do this, right? Okay. If that's what's going to get you moving, go ahead and use it. Don't rely on it as a sense of this is what you need. But if that's going to put that fire under your butt and you're going to be like, all right, it's on and popping, go ahead. Show them, right? Show them, oh, I couldn't do this. Oh, I couldn't build this. All right, cool. Because the best revenge is success. Ultimately, live your truth, live your dream, and you will be happy because you achieved it. But then also you'll get that satisfaction of like, oh, I thought I couldn't do it, right? Ding, ding, ding. I mean, it's a part of the journey. So I understand. So there's that. But then also what I think I have really enjoyed from the fear of rejection, and yes, that wording I meant to say, enjoy from the fear of rejection, is the idea that it showed me what I was really capable of. So many people live in a world where they believe that they can't do what they want. They don't believe in themselves. Right? Isn't that crazy? And if you're one of those people, let's talk about that, because I'm definitely talking about that in the Undress Your Mind series in another episode. So go to facebook.com/dr8fashion, go to events. You'll see all my upcoming live streams. We have got to believe in ourselves. And the best way to force yourself to believe in yourself is when you have nothing, right? Like kind of like when Damon John came out with the book, like Power of Broke. Like if you have nothing, then that becomes powerful because you have to manifest something for yourself. Like it is what it is. Like if you have nothing, then you have to create it. That's where you're at with it. So if you keep getting those no's, it's a wonderful way to say to yourself, well, you know what? Gosh darn it. I'm going to get a yes. I'm going to make a yes for myself, right? Because if sometimes you can't look outward, sometimes you have to look to you and you create what you need. So it will be emotionally hard, but it's a teachable lesson. It's a moment that the universe is telling you this is not for you or not for you right now. So you think about how to pivot from that. So it creates a deeper understanding or connection with yourself. Secondly, you will have that fire under your butt to keep it moving, to keep moving forward. And then thirdly, you'll see what the hell you're made of. And you will either rise to the occasion or you will crumble. That's where it's at. So you have to decide what are those options for you. And I think we are coming down, yes, on the time. So then the last other fear I want to talk about before we say goodbye and you go off and enjoy the rest of your day is the fear of the unknown. This was a good one because this was something I definitely personally had to conquer for me to get into business, to be an entrepreneur, to do what I do. So all my life, I love planning because I'm a Virgo. I will say that forever. I love, love, love September babies. Give me hearts, give me likes. At the end of the day, not every Virgo is the same, but most Virgos I know enjoy a form of planning, enjoy some type of organization, some type of structure in their life. Some of us are really neurotic about it, more than others. For me, I'm definitely like closer on the, need it. Oh my gosh. And not cause I can't exist without it, but just because I thoroughly enjoy a plan. I thoroughly enjoy a checklist. It's just who I am as a person. I had to take a pause when I first went to law school, and I had to understand the idea that there's a lot of things that that you have no way of knowing how it's going to happen. That's that unknown feeling, right? How well will I do in school? How well will I do in a relationship? How well will I do in this business? Where is this going? The unknown. What does this sound similar to, right? It's similar to the fear of success. At the end of the day, you cannot control the unknown. That's why it's called the unknown, right? It's kind of like saying, can I control aliens? Hardly, not really. Like, life happens. It's gonna happen with or without you trying to, kind of tassel it with your control. So if you are willing to accept this known fact about life that is never changing, your existence is not changing that, the unknown will happen. What if you, similar to the fear of success, worked on the journey, not the destination? Why? Because what's great about the unknown is as you're working on your journey, the unknown will present itself to be a known to you, right? Certain opportunities will unfold, and then the unknown becomes the known, and then you can handle and adjust and respond and react. So ultimately, the fear of the unknown is pointless and futile because eventually it will make itself to be known to you. So cut the bull. Essentially, work on the journey. All right, so that was a lot, guys. I'm really excited that we had our first Undress Your Mind series because why? We work on this. We like to look fabulous. We like to present ourselves a certain way to the world. Why? Because that's a part of our levels of success that we have. You have to take care of who you are presenting to this world. People make a judgment call and you own the presentation. You don't own the interpretation, but you own the presentation that you put forth in this world. So, I hope that was both helpful. I hope that it was invigorating for you to think about how you're approaching your life, how you're thinking about these concepts, and why it doesn't make sense for you to continue with the rest of your day and or go into tomorrow with certain fears, like some of the fears that we talked about. They can all be reverse engineered, but it's up to you to figure out how you want to change your mindset. What are tools that you're going to use to start to retrain your mind and how you think? Because people are habitual. So you could say, oh my gosh, Tasha, I'm so in it. And then you do that today. And then tomorrow you're back to, oh my God, well, what if I don't get the job? Oh my God, what if I can't pay my rent? just all like in and then out, right? You've got to work on it every day. So I think a big part of some of the solutions we talked about today comes down to maybe writing some of these affirmations down for you, right? I don't have to care about the unknown. I don't care what other people think about myself. I am successful because I want to be successful. I am successful because I'm doing these 3 things. And just keep it moving, guys. So my call to action for you is to definitely watch the entire video. If you didn't watch the entire video, please share it. Share it with 3 people who you think could benefit from listening to this. And if you want to ask me individual questions about the concepts we talked about, holler at your girl. You can go to natasha@dressingroom8.com, or you can go to dressingroom8.com, the website, and also my contact information is there. But I want to hear from you. I have, like I said, 3 other parts of the series already lined up. Facebook.com/DR8Fashion to see all my upcoming live streams. The Undress Your Mind is one series that I'm doing on here. But I, as always, greatly appreciate your time, and it is a privilege to be able to be in this moment with you. Thank you for participating, and I can't wait to like talk to you and chat more. So no more fear, no more excuses. Undress your mind of it, and you know, enjoy the weekend, guys. I'll talk to you soon.